Welcome back to another album ranking, and today I'm going to be going through the Ghost discography. Now, this isn't going to include Skeleta. I am going to have a completely separate review for that in a couple of days when I actually get to hear it. That does help, doesn't it? But for now, I thought on the build up to the album, I'd go through the current albums. So we've got 6 albums to get through, plus a whole bunch of 5 albums to get through, and a whole bunch of EPs, which I'm going to look at as well. So this is going to be a fun one. I know a lot of people who subscribe to this channel are not fans of Ghosts. Ghosts? Who would be? They're scary. Who aren't a fan of Ghost. I've never really spoken about this band that much on my channel. I am a fan. I enjoyed them immensely. I think they're fucking great. So I'm really looking forward to getting through this one. Before we do that, let's just go for a bit of band history. This is straight off of Wikipedia. This is no research on my for me. But anyway, Ghost was formed in 2006 when future band leader Tobias Forge, as we now know him, we didn't really know too much about him at the time, he wrote the song Stand By Him, stating that this is probably the most heavy metal riff that has ever existed. I wouldn't go that far, but it's a cool riff, you know, there's no denying that. Before starting Ghost, Tobias had actually been in a death metal band called Repugnant, which he'd been trying for many years to get somewhere, but I don't think they ever really took off. But his ex-bandmate from that band, Gustav Lindström, he asked to help him out to record the demos for this song, and in early 2008 the two entered the studio to record 3 songs in the end. So they wrote a few more: Stand By Him, Prime Mover and Death Knell. All of these would appear on the debut album. Afterwards, Forge remarked to Lindström, "This definitely does not sound like 2 dudes that look like you and I." Thus Forge decided that they should be an anonymous theatre band, and used their love of horror films and the traditions of Scandinavian metal in the band's imagery. So a mixture of horror iconography and black metal and all that sort of stuff to make the iconic Papa. While other members of the band would wear black hooded robes and be called Nameless Ghouls, Forge would go by Papa Emeritus, dressed in papal regalia and his face painted to resemble a skull. Tobias then chose the name Ghost for the band, and initially had no aspirations of becoming the singer. He wanted to be the guitar player, but he ended up doing it. Apparently he offered the position to a number of other vocalists, all of whom turned him down, but he ended up doing the vocals himself. On the 12th of March 2010, Forge posted the first 3 Ghost songs on MySpace, and within 2 days was contacted by record labels and managers wanting to work with the group. Something that's really quite fucked up as well is that the day that he uploaded the demos, his older brother passed away on the same day from an undiagnosed heart condition, from what I understand, which is kind of a freaky thing. I did see an interview where he was saying, it's like, did I give up my brother for the band? It's kind of almost like some Faustian deal. I don't know, it could just be coincidence. But I thought that was pretty fucked up. Anyway, let's now get into some of the music, more specifically the albums. Released on the 18th of October 2010 via Rise Above Records, which is Lee Dorian's record label, which was named after the Black Flag song, don't you know? Opus Eponymous. Apparently the title is Latin for the self-titled work. So essentially this is self-titled debut, I guess. Thematically, this is about the coming of the Antichrist, and the album artwork is a reference to the promotional poster of the 1979 TV miniseries Salem's Lot. Anyone who's as old as I am will remember that. That freaked me out, that bit, you know. It hasn't aged well. It's pretty fucking cheesy now, but we're not here to talk about that. I'm not hugely informed on all the different iterations of Papa. I think any of you who are watching this, you'll probably know, I think it's pretty well known at this point, that each album cycle we get a different frontman. It's always Tobias Forge, obviously, but we get a different iteration of the frontman. And for this era, we're fronted by Papa Emeritus 1, quite fittingly. This album is pretty much faultless, and it's crazy to think how far the band have gone since this point. Actually, last night I was watching a live show of their first performance in Camden back in what would it have been? I can't remember what year it was. It must have been 2010, I guess. I don't know, but it was crazy. It was just played at this tiny little venue And right from the off, it had something about it. You can see why the band got huge. They just had that look. They just had everything right from the beginning. We've got the 70s tones. The tones on this album are fantastic. The bass tone in particular is just so damn good. It sounds absolutely glorious. But let's go through some of the tracks here. Deus Culpa starts things off. This is just like an instrumental, church organ, that real ominous sounding. I mean, there's no way I couldn't like this band, because there's so many elements of this that I love. I've always loved gothic metal and rock and goth music in general. I love those creepy church organs. I love 70s Black Sabbath riffage. Later on, we're going to get into more of the 80s pop stuff, which I absolutely adore as well. I grew up in the 80s. That's my era, so there's no way I couldn't love all that stuff. But yes, the thing starts out with this really sinister kind of instrumental. Then we go into Con Clavi Con Dio. I already mentioned the bass tone. The opening bass on this one is just, oh my god. Lucifer! Fucking amazing. Great start to an album. Ritual is an absolutely fantastic song. It's one of the most listened to, actually. Yeah, I think it's the top song on this album in terms of streams. Absolutely glorious song. The lyrics are just so, this is the summoning, I guess, of the Antichrist. Elizabeth is actually about Elizabeth Bathory, or Elizabeth as he calls her. Stand By Him, the aforementioned first song that he wrote, does have a great riff, and this is the Season of the Witch, which was it Donovan who did the Season of the Witch? Something, yeah, I'm thinking about other stuff. Anyway, fantastic song. Death Knell is fucking incredible. Sorry, Satan Prayer I missed out as well. Prime Mover. There's just every track on this is just great. Genesis is another instrumental track that sees us out. This is meant to be the birth of the Antichrist himself, and it's just so damn creepy. There's no way this couldn't go in anything other than S tier if I can get the mouse over there. I fucking love this album. It's so damn good. There are a lot of people who would write Ghost off after this, just like, nah, this, they died after this album, in their opinion. But I enjoy a lot more of what we got coming up, so we're going to get through that. But this one goes in S tier. It's just a classic. It's so evil sounding. I love the old style recording. It feels very analog. I love the tones. The bass tone is just glorious. It's absolutely amazing. I love this album. It's just a great debut, and it's just it's one of those ones you kind of listen to as an album. You know what I mean? There are a lot of these albums we'll get into later on where I'll maybe pick certain songs from them as I'm going through, but this is one of those ones I just have to listen to it right the way through. It's just absolutely amazing debut. So moving on to Infestissumam. If I got that right, I'll be surprised. This was released on 10th of April 2013, and from here on out all of these releases are put out on Loma Vista, so that saves me a lot of hassle. But So, while the debut ended with the track Genesis about the birth of the Antichrist, Infestissumam, if I got that right, continues from the Antichrist's birth onwards. In an interview, the band said everything on the first record was about a coming darkness, an impending doom, whereas this record is about something present. The new record deals with the presence of the Antichrist, the devil. And this era was fronted rather aptly by Papa Emeritus 2. This was actually released as Ghost BC as well. I think there was something going on with the legalities of the name. I think I could be wrong on that, but either way, it's we'll get into it. I was panicking. The opening title track for this one is an instrument. Well, technically it's not an instrumental because there's we got a choir all the way through it. I love this introduction. It's so epic. It's so huge. The guitar sounds absolutely phenomenal. The guitar lines, the melody lines, absolutely gorgeous. I love this song. There's definitely a difference between this and the first album. There's definitely more melodic elements in this. They're bringing more melody into it. I know a lot of people kind of put this as a less favourite album. Part of me can kind of see why it doesn't quite hold up. I'm going to get to that later. That's for the ranking later. I've got to go through the songs first. Per Aspara ad Inferi is the next song, and this is starts out with this really promising, menacing riff. This one could have easily been on the first album. It's got that very much again continuing the style that we had on the first album. Secular Haze has a very waltzy kind of feel to it. I think this is written about dying of cold exposure, or at least that's an element of it. Apparently it's a very pleasant way to go. I'd rather not find out. But Gigolo Hair Megado, this one has a real nice 60s swing to it. Goulet / Zombie Queen is the closest thing we get to a ballad from the band at this point, and then things go off into this real we get this kind of almost Monsters theme song section, and it really in the second part, really cool song. The album was actually written with the vinyl format in mind, so side 1 and side 2. So the most listened to track on this album is Year Zero, which starts off side 2, and it very much does feel like an intro track. It really does feel like... Sorry, the camera was flashing at me then. I've never seen it do that before. We'll go with it. We'll try and do it. Yeah, so Year Zero essentially starts off side 2, and it really does sound like an intro track. Real pummeling, really, really aggressive, amazing song. Body and Blood is okay, as is Idolatrine. They're kind of okay tracks. Depth of Satan's Eyes is another one that could have been on the debut. Great track. And Monstrance Clock is such an amazing closer. They often close their show with this, or at least they do before go. It's the closer before they go into the encore stuff. Quite a lot of times lately, I think. But it's such a goddamn great track. I actually recently did a video where I was discussing great album closers. Never even occurred to me to put this one. This would have been a great one for that video as well, if I get my words out and not burp. I think this is a really solid album. It's not quite up to the first, but I definitely like this one a lot more than I think a lot of other people seem to. It's a transition album between the heaviness of the first album and what the more popular elements that the band would bring in from this point onwards. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, having said that, there's only 2 songs on it that I'm not so taken with, and they're not bad songs at all. It's just... But anyway, this one for me goes in A tier. Not as good as the first album, but still a great album. Next up, we get our first EP. From here on out, we pretty much get an album followed by an EP. There's always deluxe versions, I believe, of the albums as well, where it includes all of them. So released on 20th of November 2013, we have If You Have Ghost. This is a 5-track EP that was produced by Dave Grohl. I think he actually played drums. Where was it? Dave Grohl, production, rhythm guitar on If You Have Ghost, drums and percussion on I'm a Marionette and Waiting for the Night. So yeah, he actually contributed to the recording in more ways than one. This is essentially 4 cover songs and a live version of Secular Haze. I know a lot of people really have a lot of good things to say about this one. I gotta admit, I'm not so bothered with it. It's not because it's not good at all. It's a really strong set of songs, but it's all covers, and the live version of Secular Haze is okay. I don't really need it in my life. This is more about what's essential listening, as opposed to whether I think it's good or not. I don't think there's any bad stuff in Ghost discography at all. I just think this is in order of like what's essential listening. But the actual title track, so to speak, itself, If You Have Ghosts, is a Rocky Erickson cover. I fucking love Rocky Erickson. Absolutely love Rocky Erickson. And the 13th Floor Elevators when he was with those guys. Acid as Folk. I'm a Marionette was an ABBA cover. Crucified, Army of Lovers cover. Waiting for the Night is a cover from Depeche Mode, from the Violator album, I believe. I love Depeche Mode. One thing I do respect about Ghost, they always put a different spin. They're kind of like Typo Negative in a way, in that when they do a cover, they don't just do a straight ahead, here's the cover. They always put their own spin on it. That being said, I'm actually going to put this one in D tier. There's probably a lot of people screaming at me now. It's like, how can you put that in D tier? But again, this is all about essential listening, and it's not essential listening in that regard for me. So now we get on to a heavy hitter here. The third album, released on the 21st of August 2015, Meliora. Now, this album is many people's favourite, and I'm one of them as well. This album, they really master they really get the combination right of the heaviness of the first album along with the pop sensibilities that we'll see later on. This is kind of almost like the band moving from the 70s into the 80s, and a lot of the current Ghost stuff is very much 80s influence, whereas the earlier stuff was much more 70s influence. Though we'll get to some 60s stuff in a bit as well. Meliora is Latin for better things. The main theme of this album is the absence of God. A nameless ghoul said the lyrics deal with the void that happens when there is no God, when there is no one there to help you. But even then, there will always be some fucker there to give you guidance. And the band is basically portrayed as the religious party that comes in with a guiding hand. We offer the one place in the world that is spiritual. And this one is fronted by Papa Emeritus III. I mentioned earlier on about the first album being one that I listened to in one go. And that is exactly the same for Meliora. Now, there is a deluxe version of this, again, like some of the other ones. We'll get into the EP side of things afterwards, so we'll just go through the actual song, the actual album itself first. Spirit. First of all, the production on this one is much brighter. Much more in your face, but there's also like much more 80s influence in this, and there's a lot of prog rock elements in this, which is perfectly highlighted in the opening track Spirit. It's got a real prog rock vibe to it. It's a fantastic opener. From the pinnacle to the pit, it just goes back to that dirty sounding bass tone from the first album. It's there's some really kind of cool heavy riffs on this album from the pin. This one does as well. That song, yeah. Cerise is a stone cold classic at this point. Another one that has a real nice, I wouldn't go so far as industrial, but kind of has, there's that real kind of a stomp to it. Spock Sonat is a instrumental piece which we will get references to on the next album, Prequelle. We will get that to that. He is a pretty much a ballad to the Dark One, and it's a beautiful track. It's a very hypnotic, engaging track. The Tobias is forged for creating melodies, and I'm sure with many of the other songwriters as well. He has worked. He has spoken about being quite a collaborative person in the studio, and I think that's with the producer as well. I should find out the producer, but I can't be bothered. We're already into it now. I've got to go. Mummy Dust is a fucking great song. Just a really heavy track that would, with a different production, would have again fit on the first album. Majesty has this dun, 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 a real kind of marching beat to it. Every single song on this album has a memorable chorus. They really do master the catchy chorus. It's almost like System of a Down in a way. I remember when I've listened to System of a Down albums for the first time back in the day. They're so catchy, the choruses, that it feels like you've known them your whole life, and that's definitely what this is like. Devil Church is another instrumental piece. Absolution has a great chuggy riff in it as well, and another glorious chorus. And Deus in Absentia is another fantastic closer. I don't know if I'd go as far as to put it on the amazing closers of all time kind of list, but a fantastic close to a fantastic album. This one for me goes in S tier, and I'm actually putting this at the top of S tier. I think this is the band truly at their, they just mastered everything on this album. Like I said, you got the heaviness of the first album mixed with the real poppy huge choruses that the band will from this point on be kind of renowned for. Their ability to craft a fucking incredible it goes in S tier. I like the album. Next up, released on the 16th of September 2016, we get the Popestar E.P. Now this one, I'm going to put this one in A straight away. I'll put it behind Infestissumam, but it has to go in A purely for Squarehammer. Absolutely fucking amazing. It's essential listening. You have to hear that damn song. It's just so fucking good. It's so catchy. Absolutely fantastic. The rest of it is a bunch of covers. Again, we got Nocturnal Me from the Echo and the Bunnymen, I Believe by the Simeon Mobile Disco, Missionary Man by Eurythmics. I'm not a big fan of that cover, to be honest with you, and Bible by Impera. They're decent enough covers again, but as I said, this one has to go in A tier for Square Hammer alone. Essential listening. Absolutely insanely good track. So damn fucking good. Now we move on to the 1st of June 2018 for Prequelle. Now, this album's themes include medieval times and the Black Death. Good God. Black Death with more contemporary subject matter. And this one is a particularly special album for me because I reviewed this on my old channel, Free to Be Who I Be. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description if I can. It was a video that I really enjoyed doing. It was a funny video and it did quite well as well. A lot of people responded well to it. It was one of the first videos I did that really kind of went somewhere. So I've got a real soft spot for this album because I do enjoy this album a lot. And this era was fronted by the newly unveiled Cardinal Copia. We get a much more we get a lot more humour in the band at this point. They started releasing a lot of chapters on their YouTube channel where you would kind of document the Cardinal and the rest of the band, what was going on in the clergy and all this sort of stuff. It's very, very funny. Anyway, so yeah, the Black Death is a big part of this album. The opening track, Ashes, is, well, I guess it's an instrumental, but it has the classic nursery rhyme, Ring Around the Roses. Is it Ring Around the Roses? I think it was. And it also has references back to Spokane, the instrumental piece that I mentioned on the prior, on Meliora. Rats is a great song, really, really catchy. I think a lot of people were put off by this one when it came out. We're much more into the 80s side of things now. There's a lot more 80s riffage and the choruses have this huge 80s feel to them. But I actually really enjoy this song, and the video is pretty cool as well with him dancing around. And once again, the outro of this song is once again a reference to Spokane, what's it called? Faith is a great song. This really does have kind of a Rammstein industrial stomp to the riff. It's a great song. See the Light is an okay song, a bit more of a ballad. I enjoy the song, but it's not one of my favourites. Miasma is an instrumental, fantastic instrumental piece. I seem to remember in my original review for this album, it kind of reminded me of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy theme, the TV show from the 1980s. Has got elements of that. Dance Macabre is a cool enough song. I can understand why people might not like this song, but it's just a catchy, cool song. Pro Memoria is a great track. I absolutely love this song. It's starts out with this really glorious ballad, just Tobias and a piano talking about. The lyrics to this one are just fantastic, and the way it builds throughout the song and just gets huge. It's got a real epic chorus to it, vibe to it. Witch Image is a cool song. Again, not necessarily one of my favourites, but a totally cool song. Helvetenfonster is another instrumental track. It's and again another cool track. And Life Eternal is a great closer. This one is I actually enjoy this album a lot. There are a few more songs in it that I'm not so bothered with. I will put this one in A tier. And I'll be honest, I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. That might surprise some people, but I've got a soft spot for this album. I just really do. I think it's a great. Again, see, words. They're not easy, are they? Okay, next up we go to another EP. Well, technically this would be a single, I guess, because I think the original version is just 2 songs. But anyway, 7 Inches of Satanic Panic, which was released on 13th of September 2019. This one is steeped in 60s nostalgia, and I'm all about it. I absolutely fucking love the songs on this. Kiss the Go-Goat has a real Rocky Erickson sort of vibe to it. Mary on a Cross is so damn catchy. It's their most listened to. It was 746 million streams this one has had, and I can see why. It's just so damn catchy. It's one of those ones you put it on, you can just put it on repeat. So damn good. So the original, I think the physical version is just those 2 songs. However, on the Spotify version, we also got the inclusion of The Future is a Foreign Land, which was from the Right Here, Right Now movie, which is it's insanely good. These 3 songs work so well together. Again, we got the real 60s vibes, and I know a lot of the videos to these kind of chronicle the romance between I can't remember the names, but it's really cool. In terms of the lore of the band, I think these are quite important songs. This one for me goes up in S tier. I'll put it behind the first two albums, because those two albums, because you know, as albums go, those are absolutely amazing. But as a short collection of songs, absolutely essential listening. I absolutely love this. So damn good. Next up, we come to the last album as of this point. Of course, Skeleta will be released in a couple of days' time, and I'll be doing a review of that. But released on the 11th of March 2022, Impera, or Impera, I think it is. The theme of Impera mainly focuses on the rise and fall of empires. So Imperial, I guess, would make sense. This album cycle would see the return of Carney or Copia. I think this is the only time we've had the same frontman, essentially, on two album cycles. However, he would be promoted to Papa Emeritus IV, and now he is Frater Imperator. Oh, fuck off. That's my understanding anyway. Either way, it's the same. It's the first time we've had the same frontman for both. So this one falls a bit for me. I don't think that's an uncommon. I think this one was kind of a bit more panned than some of his other stuff. That being said, there are some great songs on here, but we'll go through some. The opening track, Imperium, it's another instrumental piece, another instrumental opener. Not one of my favourites, is okay. Caesarion, I'm not a fan of. I've never really took to this song. I don't like it's too bright. It's too... Yeah, I never really took to this song. Spillways, however, is a great track. The chorus on this is absolutely amazing. He also did a version of this with Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, which is well worth a listen. And you can really hear that Def Leppard influence. There's a lot of Def Leppard on this album. And from what I've heard from Skeleta so far, the singles that I have heard. But yeah, Spillways is an absolutely great track. Call Me Little Sunshine, I think it's a decent song. I'm not blown away by it, but it's a cool song. Hunter's Moon, awesome. Again, another one with an insanely catchy chorus. Really like that song a lot. Watching the Sky is a really cool song. I really enjoy that one. Dominion is just a kind of an interlude piece. 20s I really don't like at all. Another one that I've not really been able to grasp. It sounds so fucking corny. I get the idea of it, the lyrics to it. I understand where he's going for. I understand what he's saying with it, but the actual song itself does nothing for me. Darkness at the Heart of My Love is an okay song. Again, not one that I'm particularly blown away by. Griftwood is great. I love that song. It's got the opening riff is very reminiscent of Van Halen. Oh god, I can't remember the name. Ding 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 ding. It's very reminiscent of that. Anyway, another one, hugely anthemic chorus. Love Griftwood, really great track. Bite of Passage, another instrumental piece, and then we got Respite on the Spitalfields. I like elements of this song, but the it always kind of makes me wince a bit. I never quite took to this song. This one for me goes in B tier. It's a real mix. I'm kind of 50-50 with it. Looking at it now, the songs that I do like, I really like. I think they're crafted so well. I think he's done a fantastic job with them. But the ones that I'm not so keen on, yeah, I could easily just... I skip a lot on this album. So because of that, it goes in B tier. Not a bad album, but not one of the best either. And my last ranking for this video was released on 19th of May 2023, and that's the Phantomime E.P. Yeah, like I said, we've got Skeleta coming up soon, and I will do a completely separate review for that. But this is just a 5-track EP, all of covers. See No Evil is a television cover. I love television. They're a great band. Jesus He Knows Me by Genesis. I'm not a big fan of that cover, to be honest with you. Hanging Around by the Stranglers. Phantom of the Opera by Iron Maiden. I think they do a great job on that. We Don't Need Another Hero. The Tina Turner song from Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome. I'm not really a huge fan of that one either. So for this one, we'll see. We've got a nice. Actually, do you know what? Actually, that can move up. I'll put We Have Ghost in C, and I'll put this one in D. It's kind of my least favourite of all the EPs, to be honest with you. All covers. No, I've moved things. That's going to make things fucking annoying. Yeah, like I said, the Phantom of the Opera cover, I think they did a really solid job on that. But the rest of them kind of like, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, it doesn't help that they're not necessarily songs that I care that much about either, if you know what I mean. In terms, not sure how far I got to in recording on that because the battery just went on the camera. So I'm gonna have to head off now before it goes again, which is I'm wasting time now. Like I said, this is just my album ranking up to this point. Skeleta gets released in a couple of days from the point of me recording this, and I will be doing a review for that as soon as I can. Because I will say that the three singles I've heard from it so far, I really think Satanized and the Crying one, I can't remember the name of it, I think those two are absolute bangers. Not so keen on the opening track so far. It's an okay track, but anyway, we'll get into the full review for that next time. So here again, we have the awkward close, the awkward way to just sort of see. I'm kind of. It'd be nice for me now if the battery actually just